All right, today we're going to make the specimen for the Liberty Live shoeing in Fort Worth, Texas. It was made by Quint Gonzalez, and I think he did everybody a solid by making a straightforward shoe, get to focus on your foot. There's plenty of pitfalls in this shoe though. It's fullered for 4 hybrid 5s on the outside and 2 hybrid on the medial side, I'm sorry, and then on the lateral side 2 hybrid 5s. It's 11.5 inches of 3/8 by 1. And the pitfalls is probably coming along on your medial, getting it pinched up. Do not pinch it up where your fullerene starts. That's easy to get it pinched up there. And straddling your safing and going through center of stock. That'll be some of the things to look out for in making this shoe. All right, this is an 11.5 inch piece. I'm gonna put it on edge, my center punch 5 3/4, so I can cheat if I need to, but I still have a reference for where my toe bend goes. In the straight, I'm just going to draw it down because there's quite a bit of drawing. I'm going to draw it down and make my medial heel. It's off the hammer, so you want to make everything as nice as possible. Trying to get all that crisp. That way you don't have to come back and revisit it again. All right, we'll do the lateral branch now. All right, the lateral branch. Narrow it up and make your heel. The lateral branch will tend to get a little wider on you from the safing, so don't be afraid to get after that a little bit. All right, I've got it all drawn out. Probably got about, it started out at 11.5, and we're at about 12 1/4, between 12 1/4 and 12.5, so I stretched it about 1 inch. All right, 2 things I'm going to do on this heat. I'm going to square up my shoe on the anvil, and I'm squaring up my heels, then I'm going to just come here and I'm going to commit, got the shakes. I'm just going to commit to my fullerene right here. Then what I'll do is I'll hold it right here, and I'm going to come all the way around the corner to the fullerene and start blending that in. He just goes past the widest part of the foot on the safing. Just get a little bit of that knocked in. Now I'll move on as normal, fuller the medial branch, and then I'll adjust accordingly. And where the biggest deal is not to commit to these two toenails until you've got your length pulled out. Just gonna revisit that heel a little bit. Come up here and hem it up, kind of bring it up to a nice, good edge. Put 4 nails in there. Line it up real good. Out of me. All right, we're going to turn the other branch. Just kind of making sure my heel is all sorted out. I'm going to come from the widest part and I'm going to cut across the corner. This is really going to make my shoe wide, so I just want to do this a few times before I narrow it back up again. And just remember that this line is hard to make with your hammer, but you can make it easy with the anvil, and we'll show you how to do that here in a second. Every time I do this and I rework the edges, my shoe gets a little bit longer. When I put it up here, my shape is a little bit off. And the reason the shape gets off is because every time I hit this, it kicks that branch in, and in. So before I commit to those 2 nail holes, I'm going to rework the whole branch one more time. But I'm going to get a lot of the heavy lifting and a lot of the work out of the way on this angle right here. Alright, so I just work this flat. And now you can see how everything's tucked in. I'm just going to go and rework this branch one more time with a little bit of heat before I commit to those lateral toenails. Alright, coming from the widest part, I'm just kind of trying to just narrow up this section a little bit, but I'm working all the way over to the other toenail. But don't go there. Don't go quick just before you get there. And now work away from the heel quarter. got my branch a little bit closer where I want it. I'm going to straddle that line I got. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to pick up this other edge. I just got this knocked in there. Reason I went ahead and put my full iron in there first is because this corner right here kind of dictates everything in the shoe. So now I need to pick that edge up and clean that up a little bit. Picking up. When I say pick up, I'm just really trying to pull that whole line over a little bit. Busted all that junk loose, and then I'm just going to come in here and flatten this up real nice. All right, I'm just gonna finish reworking the outside branch and we'll be done. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna create our nail holes. And then we can kind of trim up those lines around the nail holes. So, clean up our frog eyes, go all the way right on through the frog eyes, come over to the other side. And then we're just gonna, you gotta forge all this because there's so much nail displacement and material that displays, it's hard to create really nice lines if that's one of the last things you do. So we're kind of knocking some holes through there, and then we'll clean our displacement up. And see where we got. There we go. To clean up this line here, we're just going to push out with our hammer and push towards that line, and that'll create the nice line on the top side. You can see how that makes that nice and crisp. Start here at the widest part, clean up that line all the way through. Widest part. Just follow my line. go straight through the nail hole. Then I use my head stamp that's got a little bit better edge on it and put my nice edge on that. All right, it's hammer finished, so you want to make sure your heels are done good. You'd like to have the shoe not racked, and you want to have your safing stop pretty close to the widest part of the foot. Go to the toe here. 4 nails on the inside, 2 on the outside. I think there's just a lot of time, and it's never done because you can always rerun an edge. It's a good fundamental shoe to make, and it's very practical to put on a lot of horses.